My name is Natalia, and I will be the host for today's workshop. And the topic for today is Excalibur PAM module. Marek will talk about today's agenda in more detail, but just for the purpose of introduction, let me summarize today's content of this session. We will be focusing on privileged access management and how Excalibur SAM addresses key challenges in this area. We will walk through design concepts and take a closer look at the main components and see live demos of the Excalibur PAM model in action. We will also cover important features such as peer verification and just-in-time access with deep practical demonstrations along the way. We also invite you to participate actively in the workshop by asking questions and contributing to the discussion at any time. Of course, we will also be it will be also a dedicated Q&A session in the end. And if you would prefer to postpone your question, please post in the chat and we will get back to it with an answer. But if you would like to ask questions during the session, which we also appreciate, simply raise your hand and we will give you an opportunity to ask or discuss directly. Marek, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Natalia. Thank you for your introduction. For today, I prepared, as Natalia already mentioned, the privilege access management module. First, I would like to talk a little bit about what really the privilege access management is. What is the definition? What are the concepts? Then we will move on to see some high-level design in Excalibur SAM. Then we will also try to talk a little bit about the low-level components in Excalibur SAM regarding the PAM module, and then I will demonstrate live demo just to simple show you what the Excalibur PAM module is about. Also, how it could be configured, what to check, what to do, and also, for example, how to configure permissions for users to be able to access particular PAM targets. Then we will move to peer verification, but peer verification regarding the Excalibur PAM module. I will talk a little bit about the concepts as well, and then I will try to demonstrate some features in the live demo. Then we will move to the just-in-time access in Excalibur SAM's PAM module. As well, I will try to explain how the module or how this feature was developed, how it works, what are the core principles and features. And again, I prepared quite detailed live demo, how to configure the GID access and also how it works. But first, before we start, I will ask Edo to talk a little bit about the Excalibur company overview and Excalibur SAM overview as usual. So, Edo, please go ahead.
Thank you, Marek. Precisely, as usual, we're just going through the main details to mention the basics, like the Excalibur is a Slovakia-based vendor. We are focused on MFA, PAM, and AI generation of the web application solutions. And of course, we are part of the European bodies like ECCC, ECSO, and EUDIS as a program for European Defense Funds. Also, there is a basically part of it, the label, official label of the cybersecurity made in Europe, as this is something that we are building on, that we are pro-European and European designed solution to also combat the need for the regulations. And speaking of regulations, we are also fully audited and certified by ISO for these three numbers, and we've been crowned as a EIT Digital Champion in 2025, which is again another European body, Institute of Innovation and Technology. Can you please switch to the next slide, please? Thank you. And basically, that's all you need to know about Excalibur before we are getting into some more details, and why that is why we are calling it the Excalibur as a SAM. Standard PAM, the Privilege Access Management, as the module will be described by Marek in a few moments. It basically says something about the system, and the system is guiding the privileged view. And this is a fundamental problem that we think that also the non-privileged users might be the gateway for attackers directly to your infrastructure. So our goal is to guard also these standard users, and doing it by isolating them from the infrastructure through streaming. So it's like a visual representation of the connection instead of extended connection to the user. Can you please switch? All right. And the basic system consists of four basic layers. One is the multi-factor authentication, which is the gateway into the main system, and where we are focusing on identity. So the identity of user is not made by the email and password combination, which can be stolen, but it's something more personal, and this is biometry, which is through the basically smartphone with multiple more factors that are directly in your smartphone. So we are replacing something that the user needs to remember and change with something that they already have. So that's the multi-factor authentication. And then, of course, once the user is authenticated, you are led into the dashboard where the granularization of the access comes in. Everything is fully clientless and agentless, so you don't have to install anything on your devices. Basically, you just need to open the HTML5 browser to be able to fully connect. Within that, of course, there is a multiple features that we will probably go through, as the just-in-time and the peer verification. This is part of the PAM module that Marek will talk about. Third layer is the full auditability and visibility into the system, into the dashboard, into the infrastructure. So everything that is happening within the infrastructure is or logged or recorded fully for the user. And that's again where the biometry used in the first layer comes in. So we are cryptographically signing every action with the biometry, meaning Face ID or the fingerprint. So the user cannot deny that he himself was doing something on the infrastructure. And then, of course, over this auditability and visibility, there is a fourth layer as an AI, basically a cybersecurity specialist on top of shoulder of each of these users who are joining the infrastructure. And this security specialist is looking at the sessions that are happening and realize and visualize the context. So, okay, who is this user? Is he a super admin or is he accountant? And basically, that's one level of the authentication. Second level is, all right, what is this resource where he is joining? Some virtual machine, some server. Is he able to create a database there, or is he able to extract any data from there? And then the session itself, what is happening during that certain session. So the AI agent is looking at these three contexts and can stop the session whenever it's needed, whenever there is something that does not make in general sense in the context way. So these are the main topics, main layers of the Excalibur SAM. And I guess we can jump directly back to the second layer where Marek will go through the PAM module as it is. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Edo, for your part. So I will continue with the PAM module in Excalibur SAM. All right. So first, we need to define what exactly the privilege access management or PAM really is. So basically, it is the security strategy or we can call that also a process, um, which basically focuses on monitoring, controlling, and also protecting the organizations or companies' most sensitive accounts and also systems, assets, and etc. If we are talking about the accounts, we need to focus on strong accounts or privileged accounts such as root or admin accounts. Basically, those have the highest level of system privileges. And yeah, typically those accounts and also systems um, are being targeted by attackers uh, because basically those are representing something like easy access to the company, easy way how to compromise your systems or applications, and also how to steal the data. So if we will be talking about the key concepts, uh, it is important to keep in mind that first, users should only have or be only given by the or with the minimum level of access they need to do their daily work, daily job. Basically, this is known or called as the principle of least privilege. Second, privileged credentials aren't kept on local machines, and that's because on the local machines, those login details are quite vulnerable. So instead of that, we store those credentials in centralized, managed, and encrypted digital vault, which is accessible only to those people or identities they are authorized to use those privileges and to manage that central encrypted storage or vault. And also, third, it means any activity performed during a privileged session on those critical systems is closely monitored, recorded, and also logged. So basically, we must store not only the session recordings, but also the context, the metadata, what was happening, who was performing such activities, when, and so on, so forth. So then there is, or we can ensure that all activities can be reviewed in the future for auditing or maybe some security investigations, and also the regulatory compliance requires to have such evidence about the user's activity. In the picture down below in the slide, this is basically the graphical interpretation how the PAM process flow works or is being defined. So first, we need to somehow discover and inventor and create inventory about not only my, for example, critical systems or applications, but also privileged accounts that are used to manage and to administer those systems. Then we need to somehow classify those systems. But regarding classification, we also need to classify also the privileged accounts, but we need to classify users or identities they are utilizing those privilege accounts. So yeah, basically we need to create a complex image about what's going on, who can access what, with which credentials or permissions. Yeah, that's the third step basically. So we need to define or to describe those access controls or also policies. Then, if the policy within the company defines that we also need to take care about the verification of access requests, and also if there is some kind of approval involved. So we also need to take care about those as well. Fifth step is more or less optional, but some organizations or enterprises requires that those critical systems can be accessed only within a specific defined time and date, and it is basically called just-in-time access. The sixth part of the process flow, I already mentioned that everything should be audited, logged, recorded, and regarding those data, we also need to have a context to understand users' intent, what was going really on, or what should happen, and if there's something wrong, what has happened in the wrong way. And that's basically the last part of the process. So we also need to go back to the beginning and take care about all first 6 steps again and again. So this is never-ending process. It never has a specified beginning and never has specified the final finish or final step. It is continuous process. Okay, maybe you may ask, why is a PAM a must? Why we need to deploy such system or application? The best detail or how we can describe the need to deploy such application is that it prevents lateral movements. So basically, if some attacker accidentally gathers some privilege accounts and will try to access our systems using those credentials, basically there is or once the attacker is inside my infrastructure, there is no or it is quite easy to move a little bit further, to move or to connect to another systems within the same subnet or within the same VLAN. And if there are some hard-coded credentials within applications or utilities, those can be misused by attackers as well to move more into the deep of my infrastructure. So yeah, basically the to prevent lateral movement is the most essential feature of privilege access management system.
Marek wills
Yes.
like have raised hand from Rob. Maybe he has some question.
Yeah, go ahead, Rob.
I'm sorry, I typed it, but I'll speak it as well. So you talked about the end users don't get the credentials to the PAM targets. Is there any way that they can find out the credentials at all from the system?
Well, if we are talking about the privilege access management platforms in general, some of them allows the users to pick up those credentials, and the rest not. Basically, the Excalibur SAM belongs to the second part. So once the privilege accounts or credentials are being configured within the PAM target configuration, they cannot be revealed for the end user anymore. So basically, they are encrypted, stored in the application database, and that's it. So those credentials can be used only when user access or wants to access some specified PAM target, and Excalibur will take care and will log in the user or create a session on behalf of the user using those stored credentials. Okay, any other question or comment? All right, thank you. So yeah, I was talking about the lateral movement, and also when we are talking about the successful attacks within the internal parts of the infrastructure, we also need to talk a little bit about insider threats. So basically, threats caused by employees. So maybe some user will, maybe intentionally, maybe not, run some or open some malicious content. So basically, by using the PAM system, we prevent those accidental or intentional misuse of privileged credentials. And the last part, basically, I think it is the worst one from all necessities why we need to deploy or to set up some kind of privilege access management system, is the regulatory compliance. Some regulatories such as GDPR and especially NIS2 basically required to have such privilege access management system deployed and used daily by the users or identities that need to access the critical systems or assets within my organization. Again, there is a picture, basically how, for example, the attack could be happening, and how to prevent each step of the attack flow using the privilege access management system. So yeah, initial access is some attackers could have the privilege access or privileged accounts on their disposal, some not, but basically by initially accessing using those privileged accounts, we can easily define some kind of access policy, or we can enforce the access policy. So we can easily define that only users sitting in my office can access those critical systems, or I can define a specific IP address, IP subnet, or a specified date and time, and that's it. When we are talking about the credential theft, I was already talking about the privileged access management system, that it should have some kind of vault to store the accounts encrypted and accessible only for authorized people. There is also one more mechanism how to prevent credential theft. If accidentally some attacker will steal the credentials, there could be automatic rotation policy in place that will take care that those credentials already stolen by attacker are already expired because password rotation policy has taken care and the passwords are not valid anymore. Yeah, we can then talk a little bit about the privilege escalation. So basically, we can define least privilege principle or policy, and we can also enforce just-in-time access if needed. Then again, some possibility of lateral movement. We can prevent those by session monitoring, logging. Maybe we can utilize the artificial intelligence analysis within the particular session, or user behavior, and that's it. And basically, the last part of the attack is the data exfiltration. So we should have some possibilities to audit the user activity and also to have configured automatic alerts to be informed when there is something wrong going on. All right, so that was shortly about the privileged access management, about the process, about the flows. So now I would like to talk a little bit about the PAM module high-level architecture, especially how it is defined or designed within the Excalibur SAM. So the most critical component I was already talking about is the PAM vault. So it securely stores or privileged credentials centralized in one place, and by secure storage, I mean those credentials should be encrypted in case there is some kind of database leaks or maybe some backup leak or whatever. So in those scenarios, attacker will get the database data, but those data will be still encrypted without any possibility to decrypt them outside of the privilege access management system. Okay, so we have credentials, then we should have some kind of workflow engine which will take care and will grant access only for those users they are authorized to access. So the workflow engine also should be configured to meet company policies, and it should include, for example, to require some peer approvals or just-in-time access, and so on. Then there is the component called Session Manager. Basically, that's the component or technology that will take care and create that privileged session on behalf of the user. And also, it should take care about the recording of the session and also about the creating all auditing data and context information. And the last high-level component that should be present should be regarding the auditing and reporting, to keep detailed record of all privilege excesses and actions. And basically, it makes easy to review what happened, and also to meet the compliance needs. So those are four major components. So we can check now how they are designed or developed within the Excalibur SAM. So let's talk a little bit about low-level architecture. Well, the first component, which is maybe the most important one, is the Apache Guacamole daemon. This technology is or was developed as open source project, basically to provide a possibility to connect the users to SSH, RDP, VNC, and also Telnet management interfaces of many different applications and systems. And also this Guacamole daemon will take care about the session recording. So basically, all the activity of the users is being recorded, and this is the component responsible for session creation, connectivity, and also recording. We utilized this component because it was already available as open source. It works very well. It can be easily integrated to third-party systems. So that was the main reason why we decided to use it. The second, the most important component is the secure tunnel, and also his possibility to proxy SSH and RDP sessions. In the future, it should be also possible to proxy database connections. And this was completely designed and developed in-house. And in the picture, you can see how it works. We already had a workshop dedicated to this technology. So just quickly, I will explain what's going on. So let me turn my laser pointer on, like such. Yeah. So here is the secure tunnel connection, and within some kind of isolated network segment of the organization, there is the tunnel client running, which connects to main application server of Excalibur SAM cluster, and it creates encrypted connectivity that can be used as a tunnel for incoming RDP and SSH sessions. In the future, as I said, it should be available also as the database proxy for four major database vendors: Microsoft SQL, Oracle, MariaDB, and PostgreSQL. So basically, the Excalibur tunnel client is being managed from the Excalibur SAM application server. And when the tunnel client is asked to provide connectivity for incoming session, it will do so. And each connectivity will have its own encrypted session within the tunnel. Okay, so then comes the Vitro technology. So basically, it is the proprietary remote browser isolation technology or engine that isolates web sessions. So users can access web applications or management interfaces of systems or devices, and it utilizes dedicated and completely isolated web browser running remotely within the Excalibur SAM cluster. And basically, it is completely air-gapped. So the user is not accessing the web application or remote web application directly, but there is some kind of component in the middle, and that's the remote browser isolation engine. So that's a specific kind of air gap technology, how to isolate applications from malicious users, or the other way, to isolate users from possibly malicious applications. And finally, there is the Vitro AI component, and basically this component monitors user actions within web-based sessions in real time and analyzes the user's intent. It is doing so by proactively detecting the suspicious behavior, like, for example, potential data leak or some kind of hacking attempts. The standard ways how to stole the data, or sorry, how to steal the data using common techniques such as, for example, SQL injection, request forgeries, and so on and so forth. And all those components combined together can provide strong security and also very seamless access for privileged users. So basic or common users will utilize the dashboard web user interface and access the systems using the standard web browser, or administrative users such as application or database or systems administrators can also utilize native SSH or RDP clients as well. So this all means there is quite a huge convenience for users, for administrators, and as well. So together with those components, the infrastructure can be protected on multiple levels. Okay, the PAM module demo is in front of us, so give me a few seconds. I will open all necessary, and no, this was not the correct way how to do that. I need to go this, then this, like such. Yeah, I need to move this on the side. Okay, so on the left side, you can see live screen from my smartphone. In the middle, I will be logged in using the system administrator of the Excalibur SAM. And in the right side, I will log in using a regular user account. So we can check directly what is going on and how the Excalibur SAM configuration works. Okay, I will log in using the system administrator account. Oh, okay. No security policy defined for action authentication. Bummer. Oh, this is not good. I will try James McNeil. Okay, James require authorization or peer verification. I will approve his access. Okay, let's try again. Wow. Unauthorized. Why? All right. Maybe some kind of typo. I don't know. But okay, first I need to verify if I can switch to administrator. Yes, I can. Good. Okay. So now I will log in the regular user. You cannot see, my fault. Okay, I will use a Lion Walker account for these. All right. So regarding Lion, he's the regular user which wants to access some kind of, come on, some kind of PAM target. I don't know what's going on here. Let me correct that again. Oh boy. ah. Mhm. Nice one. Okay, hopefully it will not block our view. Okay, so as you can see, the user Liam on the right side cannot access any of predefined PAM targets, and we can check that there are multiple PAM targets already in place. I created two for today's workshop. One is the RDP type, and the second one is SSH type. And now I would like to create access policy or permission policy for user Liam to be able to access those two systems. So I will go to security policy section, and now I'm going to create a dedicated security policy object. By the way, I already created user group into which the user Liam belongs to. And also I have created PAM target groups, 3 of them. And those 2 PAM targets belongs to a common one, which is called workshop targets. Okay, so let's go back to the security policy and try to configure one for user Liam to be able to access those PAM targets. Okay, so I will call that workshop authorization policy. I will select the user group, which I already created. It is called workshop users. User Liam is already a member of that. Now I will select action type authorization. The target type is automatically pre-filled as PAM. Now I will select PAM target group. You already seen it is called workshop targets. And now I will select or choose one of already created rule sets. So, for example, default authorization rule set is absolutely fine for me, and that's it. I will save that. Okay. And now within the window of Lion's dashboard, I will click on refresh. And as you can see, now the Lion can access those two already created PAM targets, and the access has been defined within this specific security policy. Okay, so let's check if it works. I will click on the RDP one. Yeah, it is opening and it works. So that's fine. I can, or the user Liam can interact with the remote RDP system as usual, as normal Windows. So he can, for example, open files, edit some documents, whatever he needs to perform, he can. I would like to show you, for example, the file transfer functionality. So let me upload some document or some file from my local PC to this remote system. So I will open the shared disk, which is accessible in the this PC section in the Windows Explorer. And here on top, there is available toolbar, which I will activate by clicking on the tooth wheel, like such. Then I will go to section devices and shared drive. And now I can upload the file from my local PC. So I will click on upload file. Okay, it is open, but I do not know where. No, it is now. It is opened. Okay, nice. Okay, so maybe I will select this picture, or maybe this one, or maybe some other one. Maybe this one will be okay. Oh, come on. Maybe this one. Okay. All right, you already can see the notification that the file has been transferred to the remote system. So I will close that toolbar. I will refresh the content of the shared disk on Excalibur on the remote system. And as you can see, the file has been successfully transferred. Now I can copy the file wherever I needed it and to do whatever I need to do. The same principle works when I need to transfer some file from the remote system, so I can create some kind of text document. I will type in something like such. I will save the file, close it, and now I can copy and paste the file to the shared disk of the Excalibur. There is also the download folder. Maybe you are curious and asking why there is such folder automatically created. It works like such. If I drag and drop the file on the remote system and drop that directly into the download folder and let it go, it should be automatically initiated as download to my PC, so I can store the document directly to my local disk, like such. And that's it. If I need to access the file the different way, I can also do it by activating that auxiliary toolbar. And as you can see, I can download that file, double click on that, and it is already downloaded like such. Okay, maybe I can show you some possibilities how to, for example, utilize the virtual keyboard, which is also a part of the web-based PAM client. So, for example, this Windows Explorer window, I will close by the Alt F4 shortcut like such. So if there is a necessity to insert some kind of special character or combinations of keys on the keyboard, and that combination can be detected by my browser, and my browser can behave strangely on that key combination. So I can always utilize the virtual keyboard to do such action on the remote PC. So, for example, Control Alt and Delete, and as you can see, I activated that combination in the remote system. Also, the escape works as intended. So basically, this is it. The clipboard works as usual if it is allowed in the PAM target configuration. Users can copy text between the remote system and local PC in both ways. By the way, we can check the configuration within the target. So let's proceed. Yeah. First, we can enable or disable the file transfer functionality. We can enable or disable file download or upload separately. We can also define how is the maximum file size for the transfer, or we can also enable unlimited file size to transfer between user and remote system. Also, regarding the RDP targets, we can utilize so-called remote application invocation. So if we are connecting to a remote desktop services terminal server, and there is a specific application installed and published, we can directly configure Excalibur to run the application. So user will see only window of that particular application and anything else. No desktop, no start menu, no icons, nothing. Just that simple remote desktop application. We can also define if we need to enable or disable session recording. We can also configure the retention period for recordings, or we can activate option to store session recordings permanently. And as I already mentioned, we can define a copy or paste or both if needed. Let's talk a little bit about the authentication possibilities. There is an option require authorization. I will talk a little bit later about it. Also, there is an option use Excalibur credentials. That means that user will be logged in to the remote desktop system, or basically Windows system, using his own credentials. So basically, now I'm logged in as James McNeil. So let's sorry, here I need to check. I'm logged in as Liam Walker, so we can check directly on the remote system which user account was used, since I have activated the use Excalibur credentials options. So let's do it. And I will zoom in. And as you can see, the local is the name of my domain. Yeah, my domain typically calls or is named as local, but it is a domain. And my username is Liam Walker. As you can see, the Liam Walker, yeah, Liam Walker, the domain user. This option, use Excalibur credentials, which automatically logs in the user using his own personal credentials, can work only together or in cooperation with the Active Directory server, which is configured as identity store, and that user, that Liam, is domain user or Active Directory domain user. That's the only situation when use Excalibur credentials option works as intended. If the user is being created as a local identity store user or Entra ID user, this option will not work for the user, and the automatic login will fail. So basically, user will not be able to log in to the PAM target. If this option is deactivated, I can pre-fill the login credentials, but it means all users, those have access to this PAM target configuration, they will be logged into the RDP using the same account, which I can configure right here. So basically, I can configure local or domain-based username, the same local or domain-based password of the user. And if I'm talking about the domain users, I can specify the domain name as well. I can leave these fields empty, and that means I can disable the network level authentication on the server side. And in those scenarios, when user will try to connect using the PAM target configured with empty credentials, the login page will appear. Login page, I mean login page of Windows, and the user needs to authenticate using the custom credentials provided by user. So basically, three options how to configure credentials to RDP targets. Regarding security, the best or the most convenient way is just to turn on the possibility to ignore the certificate, and also the security regarding predefined credentials or possibility to use Excalibur credentials. It needs to be configured as any. If I need to enable users to only connect using the empty fields regarding the credential configuration, then I need to configure security type to TLS. Okay, so basically that's it regarding the PAM target configuration and the security policy, which will permit user to access those configured PAM targets. We can also check configuration of SSH PAM target. It is very similar to RDP1. As well, you can, for example, define possibility to use Excalibur credentials, because nowadays you can join Linux-based systems into domain as well. So there is possibility to use the personal credentials of the user to access the Linux system. And then there is possibility to configure username and password combination, or username and private key. The private key can be also configured as encrypted one. Then you need to provide a passphrase. And the third option is to keep the login credentials empty. And it is the same situation as for Windows. Basically, Excalibur will ask user to provide login credentials to be able to log into the system. The rest is in principle the same, except the file transfer configuration. You need to specify some kind of remote folder. I think the best approach is to specify temp folder, because temp folder is accessible by all users. And also the temp folder is usually emptied after the fresh Linux system reboot. All right. That was all regarding RDP and SSH configuration. There is also possibility to configure VNC target. Is quite similar to RDP, where you can only specify a VNC password instead of credentials. And also there is possibility to add a web target. So you can define, for example, some URL where you want to connect. Also, you can enable or disable the session recording functionality, the session recording retention period. Also, you can provide the credentials. And in the future, there will be a possibility to record a macro, where you can configure the remote browser to perform auto login with defined credentials. And user then will be connected to already logged in session in the web application. Maybe it is also important to mention that if the user needs to enter some kind of password or any other sensitive information within all PAM sessions, when the session recording is enabled, it will be visible on the screen, and also it will be logged as the text input. We can check the text input, for example, in some kind of historic session. Maybe this one. There was some input, which was a command running as logoff. So any kind of sensitive information, any kind of password will be stored here in the follow section as clear text textual input of the user. Okay, that's it. And let's continue with our presentation. But first, I would like to somehow disable that vertical line, but I don't know why. Maybe I will try to lock and unlock my screen. No. Okay, maybe I will try to Okay, my start menu is not working. Nice. I will try to kill Windows Explorer, and I will try to open that again. So give me a few seconds. Explorer. Come on. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen again, like such. Hopefully you can see my screen. All right.
I'm sorry, let's wait a few seconds for.
So let's continue with the presentation.
But now we just can see you. But can you start again your presentation, please? Yes.
Finally. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the peer verification, but in context of PAM module. So first we need to define what the peer verification really is. Basically, it's the principle of 4 eyes. Not those 4 eyes and in the picture, but the second pair of eyes of, for example, user's colleague, user's manager, basically a peer. So that's the reason why we call it a peer verification. In reality, when this peer verification is enabled and the user is accessing some kind of critical system or application, we can enforce a peer verification. So that request needs to be reviewed and approved for the user to successfully connect to a particular PAM target. Why it is important? Well, it adds specific, or we can call it also a critical layer to control activities of the users. So basically, we are involving additional human factor in the security layer of access. And there are 3 main reasons why we want to utilize a peer verification in the PAM module. The first one is that it prevents a single user to access whatever he wants to access, whenever he wants to access, and whatever he has permissions to access. So as effect, it reduces the risk of insider threats or any, for example, data leak or accidental misuse of those privileges configured for that particular user. Also, as usual, it meets high requirements or a higher level of security requirement when we are talking about the compliance. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Okay. How the peer verification works within the Excalibur PAM engine. Basically, it is the same as in other use cases or other scenarios. Basically, user submits some kind of privilege access request. Then system, I mean Excalibur SAM, notifies configured peers for review. Peers will review that request, and then the peer can approve or reject the request. Also, only approved requests are being granted for the requester. Yeah, we can talk about the quite high customization in the Excalibur PAM engine. So we can specify PAM target, we can specify requester, we can specify approver or approvers, and so on and so forth. And again, there is a full audit trail being stored within the application database. So every activity of the user is being logged and can be checked in the future. Down below on the slide, again, there is a picture which explains the peer verification process in more details. And on the on the left side of the picture, I intentionally created two possible ways, but those are not ways how to approve, but you can have multiple approvers configured. So each approver needs to review and approve the request to be successful or to be granted for the user. Okay, so let's check the demo again, how it can be configured within the Excalibur PAM module. And now comes the part of functionality, which is called required authorization within the PAM target configuration. So first, I need to enable this option. I will do that for both created PAM targets, like such. Basically, by this configuration, I told the system, okay, from now, please require additional authorization by the user himself to confirm the possibility to access those accessible PAM targets. So when I will try to open the SSH session, system will ask to scan the QR code. So I will perform. Okay, my smartphone is checking my location. Come on. Okay, I will do it again. Oops, something went wrong. Connectivity issues, maybe. I cannot see the Wi-Fi. Okay, let's try again. Now it works. All right. I have no internet connectivity previously. Okay, so my authorization request has been confirmed by me as Liam. You can see that on the smartphone screen. And as a result, I'm successfully connected to the SSH target. But we were talking about the peer verification, so I'm going to configure it right now. Okay, let's go to security policies. Let's check the same authorization policy I created a few minutes ago. Open the configuration, and let's enable peer verification option. I'm going to require only one approval. Currently, it is okay for me. I'm going to specify 10 minutes window. I'm going to select administrators user group as approvers. And also, I'm going to define Maxwell Vance as the preferred approver in this use case. If I need to, I can also enable email notifications. So the preferred user or approver will receive also an email notification about the pending request for verification. Okay, I will store the policy. I will return back to my PAM target view. And as you can see, there is a new icon present right now, which is telling me, okay, me as user, as Liam. So dear Liam, you can access those PAM targets, but your request needs to be verified. Okay, so let's try. Let's try to open the SSH. Again, I need to scan the QR code. I will show you what's going on the display. So I will provide a biometry. I will provide a PIN code. And now a smartphone is telling me, okay, the verification request has been created. Now you need to wait for that to be approved. Also, the web interface of Excalibur SAM is telling me basically the same, that my that my request needs to be approved. Okay, it can be approved in two completely different ways. The first way how to approve is to do that using the peer verification section in web interface. As you can see, there is a waiting authorization for Lion Walker. He wants to access this SSH target, and his request will expire in 9 minutes. Basically, the approver can do or can see the same within the mobile application. And as you can see, there is the same information. Lion Walker wants to access the workshop SSH PAM target. I can open to see more details, when the request has been created, when it will expire, and if I need to or if I want to, I can approve the request. So I will do that directly on my smartphone. I will select Maxwell Vance as the approver, since I have multiple accounts registered as system administrators. So I can select two different ones, but I will select Maxwell and approve the request for Lion, like such. Okay, good. The request in my approval section has been already stored as resolved, as you can see. And Lion can see information, okay, your peer verification request has been approved. The icon has changed the color from blue to green. So now Lion can access that SSH PAM target, like such. Okay. So if we wanted to enable peer verification, basically we needed to configure two things. The first was the require authorization option in the target, like such, require authorization. And also I created or I a little bit modified already created security policy where I enabled the peer verification. Okay, let's move on with the presentation. Only the last part is waiting for us, and that is Excalibur SAM JIT access. So, what's the JIT access? It's just in time. So that means that user needs to somehow create a request for access few minutes, hours, days in advance, and then this request also needs to be approved by approvers, and then when the time has come, then the user can access that PAM target based on the approval. And basically, that's the temporary and also on-demand type of privileged access for users. Again, it is additional layer of security where we mitigate or minimize the risk exposure. And also, we grant the access only for the necessary time for the user. So basically, as long as it is needed and no longer. So regarding principles, it is time-bound and also task-based. That means user needs to specify his request, the exact start of the PAM target access window, the exact end of that, and also he needs to type in some description what he is going to do on the remote system. So also, as I already mentioned, approval and maybe some justification if we are talking about the denial of the request is needed by the approvers. And basically, you may ask, okay, why it is important for me? As I already said, it minimizes the attack surface. So the users cannot access PAM targets wherever or whenever do they need to access. Also, it more or less decreases a risk of some kind of data theft or system misuse. And again, it is the part of the regulations and also compliance. Okay, I already mentioned what is the workflow. So again, the first is the request from the user. Then there goes the approval from the approvers. If the access has been granted, user will wait till the beginning of the defined time window, and then he can access the specified PAM target. After that, after the time window has been finished, the access is automatically revoked, and user needs to create additional access request to be able to access that specified PAM target. Again, all of these activities are being logged, so there is a very strong evidence what was going on, who was the requester, who was the approver, and so on and so forth. So how it was designed and developed within the Excalibur PAM. Again, user will create a request within the web dashboard. There are real-time status updates, as you have already seen regarding the peer verification. The same is in the just-in-time access. And the requesting and approval of the access is basically role-based. So you can select a specified user group to approve those requests, and that's it. When there is already active session being connected and is ongoing regarding the just-in-time access, when the time is approaching the end of defined window, the user is being notified it in advance to finish the work, because his session will be automatically closed. So user basically have two options. The first option is to save the work, log off, and disconnect the session. And the second option is to create additional just-in-time access request and wait for approval. Also, approvers, they have possibility or ability to disconnect the active PAM session in any time during it is being active. So again, additional layer of security without any negative impact on the production or productive daily jobs and so on. Okay, so let's check how it works in the Excalibur PAM module. So again, me as the system administrator, I'm going to configure the security policy. So let's do it like that. So security policy, this one, yeah. Okay, I will enable JIT. I can define as much required approvals as I need. In my case, the one is absolutely fine. Again, I will select the approved groups. The one called administrators is fine. I will select Maxwell as the preferred approver, and that's it. You may ask one question. Okay, you still have peer verification enabled. That's correct. That's the right answer. Sorry, that's the right question, but the answer is directly here. So the dashboard is telling me when they are both enabled. So when JIT and peer verification are enabled, the JIT access has precedence, so is being preferred, and basically peer verification is automatically disabled. So I can leave it like this, or I can disable the peer verification just for sure. I will save the security policy, and let's check the Alliance dashboard. And as you can see, that icon of peer verification has automatically changed to just-in-time access required. So let's do some just-in-time request. I will click, and now I can see some kind of calendar. It works in the same way as the Microsoft Outlook calendar. So you can basically click on some specified day of month, or you can click, hold a button, drag, and let it go. And then your time window will automatically select all of those days I already selected. Okay, I'm going to create a very simple just-in-time request. So what is the time? 15:03:04 is coming very soon, so I will configure 05 like such. 05. And time window 2, let's say 04 like such. Okay, I need to define or input some reason. I need to fetch the DB. Okay, I will submit the request. I need to confirm the request using my mobile application. Like such. Okay. And on the mobile phone, I can see the information that the request has been created. Now I need to wait for approval. I can check the status of my approvals in the section just-in-time access, my requests. As you can see that the request is pending. Me as the requester, I can delete the request in any time. Maybe I made some mistake or it is not needed anymore, so I can cancel the request if I need to. And let's check the dashboard of the approver. So I will go to just-in-time access section, like such. And yeah, here you can see Liam has created just-in-time request. He wants to access SSH system beginning at 3:05 to 16:00. Okay. I'm going to approve this from the dashboard this time, but I can do the same from the smartphone, as you can see. Yeah, again, Liam is asking me to approve. I'm going to approve that from the dashboard, so you can see it works both ways. Okay, I clicked on approve. I'm scanning the QR code using the mobile application. Again, I'm providing all the factors necessary. And that's it. The request has been approved. So let's go back to Liam's dashboard. Here you can see, well, the request has been approved, so I should be able to access the target. Let's try. And yes, I can. Again, if I need to, during already active and already approved just-in-time access to a particular PAM target, I can create another requests as needed. And basically, that's it. That's it how it works. That's it how we can configure and enable authorization, peer verification, or just-in-time access. Okay, for now, it's all from my side. Edo, could you please tell us a little bit more about this limited offer?
Hello, hopefully. Yeah, okay, I'm back. Perfect. Yes, basically, what we are, as I mentioned in the beginning, we are part of the European Union bodies, namely the ECCC, and the ECCC is issuing also a grant system for these vendors as we are with specialized technology to be able to expand. So, in order to expand in our journey around Europe, we have the possibility to have this limited offer, which means we offer to any small, medium, or large company 1 year of the subscription of the product for free for no costs, and then of course the second year is with the 75% discount, and this is something that is limited just by the end of the August. So we are right now gathering all the potential leads and potential deals for this one. So if you know anything about anybody who would like to have this, feel free to contact us. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think now is time dedicated for questions. So if there are some, do not hesitate and go on. Let me check the chat part of the workshop. No questions, nothing so far. Okay, there are no questions, but if there will be some, just contact us. I think all of you have contact to Edo, so he will be happy to answer your questions anytime. So thank you again. Have a nice rest of the day, and hopefully see you soon.
Yes, thank you so much, Marek, for your presentation and all demos. And it's our final workshop in this second series. So thank you all for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye-bye.